Necronomicon, or Book of the Dead. This book is considered by many to be the most dangerous in the history of mankind, and has even been banned from Earth. All this because of the content that exists in this book. But what is so dangerous about the scriptures in this book? Spells, black magic, bizarre cults? And most importantly, is this book real? That is what we will find out in today's video. So, subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed yet, and go ahead and click the like button. First of all, for those who have no idea of what the Necronomicon is, it is the Book of the Dead. It would have been written thousands of years ago, and contains words that put its readers in connection with powerful forces, spells beyond human comprehension, and able to drive those who read it to insanity. In it were performed experiments, rituals, and very powerful spells. It was distributed clandestinely and was even forbidden by Pope Gregory IX. In other words, it is a completely evil book with extremely dangerous contents and capable of wreaking havoc with any human being. But where did this book come from? The creator of the Necronomicon is Howard Phillips Lovecraft. Howard was a writer who revolutionized the horror, science fiction, fantasy, and horror genres, thus creating many unique creatures and stories. The book is said to have been written by a mad Arab writer named Abdul al-Hazard around 730 before Christ, in the city of Damascus, which is today the capital of Syria. Little is known about Abdul al-Hazard or how he wrote the book. It is said that he was a poet, astronomer, and scholar from Sana'a, Yemen. He reportedly spent years visiting the ruins of Babylon, the wells of Memphis, and the great desert of southern Arabia. Abdul al-Hazard is said to have died in 738 before Christ, devoured by an invisible monster in broad daylight. Abdul was fascinated by occult sciences, and through his knowledge he wrote many supernatural things in the pages of this book. Things like crazy rituals, prophecies of the apocalypse, magic formulas, rituals to bring people back to life, powers for human domination, and much more. So in the wrong hands, this book could wreak havoc with all of mankind. Descriptions regarding the physical form of the book are imprecise. Some claim that the original version had its pages made of human skin and that its texts were written with blood, also human. Its leather cover featured an agonizing face, as if from a nightmare. Other versions, probably translated, followed the model of the traditional medieval books, with their huge wooden covers and yellowish papyrus leaves, soiled and grimy by time. Inside this book, they contained rituals for invoking monsters, ancient beings, mythological creatures, and even beings unknown to the human mind. Inside, there were also spells for the most variable purposes, which could be used for both good and evil, such as some cruel incantations and rituals to achieve eternal life, spells to control the human mind, or even magic to manipulate space-time. Few have survived to tell what is in the pages of the Necronomicon. It is worth noting that the glimpse of a single page of the book can drive a person totally insane. The accounts from time to time vary, but in general we can say that the book contains many rituals of invocation of ancient beings misunderstood by the human mind. In its pages are also described some entities of the mythos and how you can get in touch with them at your own risk, let it be clear. Unfortunately, most of the researchers who have tried to use the book for beneficial and justifiable purposes, if such a thing exists, have ended up dead or driven mad in the process. Now that you know a little about the Necronomicon, is everything we have said true? What we can say is that the book never existed. It is just one of Lovecraft's most famous stories. The success of his creation was such that he became a fixture in 20th century horror fiction. Many of the writers who read and admired Lovecraft began to mention the fictional book in their own creations, and also to create similar books for their stories. The idea of the Necronomicon as a real book was so well spread that many actually believed it was a book that existed and was cursed. Lovecraft would receive letters that questioned the existence and location of the book, and he needed to explain, again and again, that it was his invention. One of the inspirations for the Necronomicon are the books of the dead that existed in societies in Egypt and Tibet, which further helped create a false idea that it might exist and have been lost. If you liked the video, found the content interesting, click the like button and also comment here below if you had heard of this book, so YouTube recommends this content to more people and helps us a lot. Today we're done here. Thank you very much for your viewing. Stay with God until the next videos.